Hello, everybody. Welcome to a presentation by the Mon Valley Unemployed Committee. My name is Barney Auersler. I'm director of the Mon Valley Unemployed Committee. I'm joined today by Donna Swangler, who's our benefits advocate. And we're coming to you today with this presentation because we're very concerned about a large number of calls and requests for help to our Facebook page and our website by people who are getting overpayment notices. Pennsylvania UC officials are sending out tons of these overpayment rulings now. Donna will explain, the different types, but the reality for people with non-fault and non-fraud overpayments is you do not have to be afraid about them coming after you to take the money back. You're not required to repay it unless you open a new unemployment claim sometime in the next 3 years. We'll go into more detail, but we really want to reassure people today that these overpayment notices for people with non-fault and non-fraud overpayments don't have to be scary. So we'll review exactly what's in them and what it means. But I also want to say we've been helping people for 40 years at the Mon Valley Unemployed Committee. We're not attorneys, but we have been very deeply involved in helping people understand their rights, understand what they need to do to protect their interests and their families' needs. And so we're coming to you as people with some experience, but not as attorneys. We will give you a way to reach attorneys for that, for looking at how they would say these things, but we want you to understand what we understand from working with people. So let me turn it over to Donna now.
Hey everyone, my name is Donna and I'm the benefit advocate at Mon Valley Unemployed Committee. I'm here today because I just wanted to share some information about the different types of overpayments and show some of the notices that are going out. Let's start with what is an overpayment. Unemployment overpayments happen when the government determines a person was not eligible for benefits they previously received. For state unemployment compensation, all overpayments are either fault or non-fault. This includes your regular unemployment and the EB or extended benefit program, which was the additional weeks of state benefits. Overpayments for federal programs are termed fraud or non-fraud. Federal programs include the Pandemic Emergency Unemployment Compensation, PEUC, which was the extension of state benefits, Federal Pandemic Unemployment Compensation, FPUC, which was the additional $600 in 2020 and $300 in 2021, the Lost Wage Assistance Program, LWA, which was the additional $300 in August of 2020, and the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program, PUA, which was the benefits for those who were not traditionally eligible for unemployment or state benefits. A little about non-fault and non-fraud overpayments. Non-fault and non-fraud overpayments often result from a reversal of eligibility. If you were overpaid benefits or received benefits that the government says that you are not eligible for, a non-fault or a non-fraud overpayment is the best outcome. Can the government get this money back? It is really important for you to know and understand that the only way the government can take the money back from a non-fault or a non-fraud overpayment is if you collect some type of unemployment benefits during the 3 years after your overpayment decision. They can take up to 1/3 of each benefit payment until the overpayment is repaid. Let's talk for a minute about fault and fraud overpayments, as these can be a little bit more concerning. For fault and fraud overpayments, the government gives this out when they believe that you intentionally withheld information or lied to get benefits. If the overpayment was due to a mistake or a misunderstanding on your part or on the part of unemployment officials, you should appeal the decision. Can the government get the money back? Yes, for fault and fraud overpayments, the government can collect the money in the following ways. If you file for and are eligible for unemployment benefits during the next 10 years, they can take your entire weekly benefit until the overpayment is repaid. They can file a lien against you in the Court of Common Pleas. In most cases, they can intercept your federal tax refund. The vast majority of claimants are getting non-fault or non-fraud overpayment determinations. After you receive the determination, you will start to get notices in the mail monthly. I'm going to share my screen and show you some of these notices that are going out. The first one is the payment coupon. We wanted to point out a few things about the payment coupon. First is that it does not list anywhere the type of overpayment that you have. Also at the top here, the minimum payment due is the full amount of your overpayment, and it's not the minimum required to be paid. And also down here a little bit further has a recommended amount due. Again, if it's a non-fault or a non-fraud overpayment, then no payments are actually required to be paid monthly. The only time a payment is required is if you have a current claim, and they can take up to 1/3 of the weekly benefit to pay towards the overpayment. Another notice that is going out is the overpayment billing notice. From the work that we do, we're finding that this notice is really frightening and concerning or confusing. This first paragraph here, it says this notice is concerning the balance due on your overpayment of unemployment compensation benefits. Depending on your overpayment, the department can take actions to recover the amount due, including taking your future UC benefits, intercepting your federal income tax refund, filing a lien against you, and/or pursuing criminal prosecution. Again, if it's a non-fault or non-fraud, they can only recoup from future benefits. They cannot intercept your federal tax return, file a lien, or pursue criminal prosecution. In our experience, even with fault and fraud overpayments, it's very rare, if ever, that they would pursue criminal prosecution. I wanted to also point out that the type of overpayment that you have doesn't show until you get to the second page. And also the FPUC program, the extra 600 in 2020 and 300 in 2021 is showing up on these billing notices as FAC instead of FPUC. Even though some have the non-fault and non-fraud overpayments and they're not required to be paid back, the unemployment officials are still continuing to send these notices out monthly. One last form that we wanted to mention is the hardship waiver. This is coming out with your determination letter. And I'm going to turn it over to Barney to touch a little bit more on the hardship waiver.
So thank you, Donna. We're monitoring what Pennsylvania is doing, Pennsylvania UC officials are doing in response to these requests for a waiver. What a waiver means is that they will just forget about that overpayment. They will waive the requirement for it ever to be repaid under any circumstances. And only the federal benefits can be waived. State of Pennsylvania does not allow any waiver of what non-fault or fault state unemployment benefits. But if you do have federal extension of unemployment or the federal supplement to unemployment, or you're in the pandemic unemployment assistance program, or you were in that program, then you can request that they waive the requirement to ever pay these benefits back. The difficulty right now is that Pennsylvania is denying, as far as we can tell, almost all the requests for a waiver of overpayment. Now, the federal government has recently sent out a notice to all of the states, including Pennsylvania, suggesting that the state grant blanket waivers, which means you wouldn't even have to apply for the waiver to have it affect you. And they can also they're encouraged to grant these hardship waivers to people who just don't have the money to repay those overpayments. Now, at this point, we don't know what Pennsylvania officials are going to do about this. We are therefore urging people wait to see whether or not Pennsylvania becomes more generous in granting these waivers of the overpayment. We will note if we get that assurance from Pennsylvania UC officials. We'll be reporting that on our Facebook page and our website. But at this point, just know that there's no time frame in which you have to apply for this waiver. There's no time limit on when you have to apply or you can't apply. If you do apply and you get denied, we urge you to keep appealing so that if we can at some point change Pennsylvania's decisions about this, we could still reach into the appeal process and help you get that waiver. So we're not saying don't apply, but we are saying that at this point, we don't think it's very helpful to do that. So just to finish up, again, people who got these fault and fraud overpayments need to be careful. You need to check and see each one of the different programs that you get a determination of overpayment. Make sure each one is a non-fault or non-fraud overpayment. We're seeing sometimes people who have overpayments have different determinations on different parts of those overpayments. So after you've carefully read it and you are clear that it's non-fault and non-fraud, then you can relax, because not only will it only be taken back from future benefits, on state unemployment benefits you get in the next 3 years, but after 3 years, it goes away forever. You won't even get these monthly notices anymore. So please be reassured by that. So we've put up now a couple of ways to get in touch with us, and an important resource that we think very highly of, that is lawyers out of the Philadelphia Legal Assistance Program. So you'll see on your screen our website, monvalleyunemployed.org, our Facebook page, Mon Valley Unemployed Committee, and then the Philadelphia Legal Assistance website, uchelp.org, where they've really organized tons of information about the unemployment system, about pandemic unemployment, and all the federal extensions. And we've also got at the bottom a little bit more for you to write down, but that is the specific pages that are part of the UC Help website that cover overpayment issues. So go there if you have more questions. If you're still confused or you still have questions, feel free to contact us through our Facebook page or our website. Donna or I or someone else from our committee with experience will get in touch with you, and we'll try to help you sort out the issues that you're facing. So we hope that this has been helpful to you today. We're available to try to help you fight the system to get benefits. Please don't give up. If you're still fighting, a lot of people have still not gotten benefits from this year, from last year, and even from 2020. Those are still owed you. This program is not ending. We are still entitled to these benefits if you did not get them. Today, we're concerned most about people who did get them and who are having overpayment questions, but we will work with you in whatever regard you need help on. So take care, keep up the fight. Join us if you can, and if you'd like. We are still fighting a lot of these policy issues, and on our Facebook page or our website, you can join our campaign to fight the state officials to make this program more effective for people. It was designed by Congress to help people, not to be so frustrating and so hurtful to people who are struggling to get the benefits. So they are entitlements, and we will help you make sure that you get them. Thank you for your attention today, and take care.